If you're a creative or an entrepreneur or just someone who wants to get their work out there, this book is for you. It's a big message. You don't have to be genius. You just need to show up. Let's break it down. Share your process, not just product. We've all been there, right? You're working on something and you think, I can't show this yet because it's not perfect. But here's the thing. People are interested in how things are made, not just the final product. It's about showing the journey. Whether you're writing, designing, or even building something, people love to see ups and downs of your process. The next big idea from Show Your Work is thinking process, not product. This one hit me hard because instead of focusing on the perfect end result, start documenting every step of the journey. By sharing as you go, you're bringing your audience along for the ride. And this way you're building a story, and that's way more engaging than just dropping a finished piece on them out of nowhere. Think process, not the product. You've probably seen people share their daily updates, sketches, or even rough ideas because they understand it's not the product that matters, but the journey. The process is where the magic happens. When you stop obsessing over perfection and just start sharing bits of your work, you create a habit. And guess what? That's what keeps your audience hooked. People love growth stories. Show them your work as it evolves. Be an amateur. Now let's talk about being an amateur. I know it sounds not so good, but Kleon says that being an amateur is actually an advantage because it means that you're not pretending that you know everything and you're learning in front of everyone. I had also this mistake pretending that I knew everything, but that's when I was closing a window of learning, which is not the best idea. But now I have no shame to say or to show that I do not understand something. Even if it is obvious, it's okay not to be perfect because people connect with that. And by showing your struggles, your learning curve, and your experiments, you're bringing value to your audience and you're showing what it takes to win because you're making it clear that it's completely fine for not to have everything figured out, which is honestly a breath of fresh air in a world full of polished, perfect content. Honestly, this mindset makes you free. It lets you experiment and share without the pressure of needing to be an expert right away. Teach what you know. Now, even if you're still learning, you can teach what you already know. This was a game changer for me because you don't have to wait until you're a master at something to share it. The beauty of the internet is that you can teach as you learn. And if you don't know something, then don't just pretend that here is how you do it. Say, here is how I did it. Think about it this way. There is always someone out there who is a step behind you and they would love to learn from your experiences. And by sharing what you've learned so far, you're adding value and positioning yourself as an authority in that space. Plus, teaching helps you get better at whatever you're doing. You could be on a level 3 and somebody could be on level 20. And so they may not remember how to get to level 2, for example. And so that is always a good idea to talk about your current struggles and what led you to level 3. And here's the best part. People love to follow along with someone who is learning. It makes them feel like they're part of your journey. And this one is important. Don't wait to be discovered. Show your work. Emphasize that in today's world, you don't need to sit around and hope for some big break. You build your own platform. Post consistently and share what you're doing and let your work attract attention. The more you put yourself out there, the more people will notice. So stop waiting for someone else to validate you because you've got all the tools at your fingertips to share what you are working on with the world. Be generous. And another takeaway is be generous. This means sharing what inspires you, giving credit to others, and promoting the work of people you admire. In the creative world, generosity goes along the way. When you support others, it builds community around you. And when you share useful resources or celebrate someone else's success, you're making connections that will benefit you in the long run. Like I am sharing what I learned from this book. Next thing is tell the good stories. People don't just want to know what you did, they want to know why you did it. Tell the story behind your work. What challenges did you face? What inspired you? And what's the big picture? Stories make your work memorable, and when people feel connected to your journey, they're more likely to stick around for the next chapter. Stick around and keep sharing. We all want to go viral after a couple of posts, right? And all those creators are telling you consistency is everything because it's not about blowing up overnight. It's about showing up regularly, even when it feels like no one's paying attention. And if you stay consistent and you'll post over and over again, and eventually over time, people will notice you and your reputation will grow. Don't give up after a few posts. This is a long game. For example, it takes 8 years to become a lawyer. Then don't quit after a couple of months of no results. And before I started making posts, I knew that I'm gonna get criticism over the time. And I already get some negative comments. And that is totally fine because not everyone is going to love what you create, and that's okay. But learning how to handle criticism is the key. You got to filter out the trolls and focus on the feedback that helps you grow. For example, in the comments you could write what I could do better. I will listen if it's criticism that could help me. I need to speak faster, or maybe slower, or maybe more clear, and etc. So those things that could make my work better. And so with criticism, you have to keep your ego in check and don't take every negative negative comment personally, and instead use criticism to level up your craft. The best creators are the ones who learn, adapt, and keep pushing forward, no matter what people say. Keep your day job, at least for a while. And lastly, let's talk about something that doesn't get mentioned enough. You don't need to quit your daily job to pursue your passion. There is no shame in keeping that 9 to 5 while you work on your creative projects on the side. In fact, having financial security of a daily job keeps you secure because it allows you to create freely without the pressure to turn your art into the full-time gig right away. So don't feel like you need to rush it. You can still keep your job, experiment, and get better at what you do. Because this way you'll create not because you're depending on it, but because you love it. And when you get enough of money to be independent, then do it if you don't like your current job. But if you're enjoying what you're doing right now, then why not to keep it? So that was the book recap on Austin Kleon book, Show Your Work. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found these tips helpful and you want to see more book recaps in a simple language, then just comment down below and I would like to hear your feedback, maybe criticism. I would just really love to read it. You can follow me on my journey and you can DM me on Instagram if you want to connect and let's build creative community together. I will see you in the next video in a week.